The secret of the Phoenix Clan, senior master of the 9 mystical flames. In the dark passage, not a single breath of air could penetrate. Countless forces seemed insignificant here, as the terrifying spatial force continually suppressed everyone. At this moment, a look of concern appeared on Xun'er's face. "Don't worry, I'm here." Xiao kept reassuring Xun'er, fully aware of her worries. After all, this matter was far too complicated. Since using the Phoenix Stone to tear through the void and enter this dark and lightless space within the Ice Palace, a long time had passed. However, this passage clearly connected to some strange place. The entire space felt unusually monotonous. Occasionally, a faint breeze of time and space stirred, and if one wasn't careful, they could be swept into it, with no chance of survival. Even reincarnation experts skilled in spatial power could feel immense pressure in such a place. Thankfully, the protection of the Phoenix Stone's power kept them safe. Though the journey was difficult, they were still able to progress. Thud. The group seemed to break through some ancient energy restraint, and immediately the space around them became brighter. An ancient aura slowly spread from afar. It was as vast as the primal beings at the dawn of time. Because of this, the remaining path was smooth, and they easily broke free from the passage's restrictions, entering a very peculiar region. What is this? The dazzling light was blinding, and everyone stared, dumbfounded. The exit of the passage was a flatland. Before them, there was no sign of the legendary Great Thousand World, or the Phoenix Clan's residence. This was clearly a world sealed by countless fiery red crystals. Towering trees and forests stretched into the clouds. Cliffs and ridges made the terrain of the plain rugged. However, the most abundant tree here was the Phoenix tree. In this world, layers of fiery red crystals covered everything, sealing the world as if time had been stopped for countless years. Standing at the entrance of the passage, they slowly stepped out, standing in this strange world. The power within their bodies hummed, emanating a deep fear. Looking up, above this strange world, with its plains and mountains, was an island so massive it seemed boundless, hovering eerily in the sky. A powerful pressure spread from the island. What is going on? At this moment, the 5-clawed golden crow and the ice phoenix trembled slightly. They stared at the vast world and the floating island in the sky, their faces filled with shock. With their power, a mere glance could tell the true nature of this place. But it seemed that there was no vitality of any Phoenix Clan expert here. This world felt like a dead, silent void, too quiet. Their ability to sense the Phoenix Clan's aura in their bodies suddenly failed. This is indeed the Phoenix Clan's ancient land. After a long silence, Xun'er and Feng Qin exchanged a glance. Their eyes scanned the towering land veins and phoenix trees around them. Then they spoke in unison. "This is Phoenix Homeland, the gathering place of the Phoenix Clan. The floating island in the sky is the core of the Phoenix Clan. But in my memory, Phoenix Island was never this easy to enter." Under the guidance of the Ice Phoenix, Xiao also recalled something. She gazed coldly at the silent island in the sky and spoke. "You've been here before?" Xiao asked in surprise. "I don't know." In response, Xiao could only shake her head, as she herself was unclear about her origins and memories. Whether she was an ice elf, a human descendant, or a phoenix descendant, all spatial and flying powers are restrained. After a moment, Xun'er's beautiful eyes were filled with shock. Even with her experience, she had never seen anything like this. The Phoenix Clan had severed all access to the Phoenix Clan's entrance. As a result, even the Phoenix Clan's subordinate races knew very little about the Phoenix Clan's situation. Could it be that the Phoenix Clan was exterminated? Suddenly, the 5-clawed golden crow recalled some events involving the master of the 9 mystical flames, and a bold thought emerged in its mind. That seems impossible. To annihilate the entire Phoenix Clan would require a force so powerful that only the supreme beings of each of the 7 realms, leading their strongest experts, could accomplish it. Otherwise, it's simply impossible. Moreover, if that were the case, it would be a self-destructive approach. Xiao shook his head, his keen senses telling him that there were countless violent energies gathering around the floating island above Phoenix Homeland. Such energy levels would render any effort, even with all of their combined strength, futile. Entering the island would require another method. In the vast territory of the Phoenix clan, countless crystal blocks had unexpectedly sealed off the area. Among these crystal blocks on the ground, there seems to be a trace of fire-red fox-like flames. The group began to move, searching for any clues to unravel the secret of the Phoenix clan. Swish! Xiao noticed something. His palm, surrounded by the glass-like sacred flame, gently touched one of the crystal blocks. The temperature is terrifying. As his hand made contact with the crystal block, a scorching sensation that seemed to burn deep into his soul spread up his arm. Yet, the red crystal block, about the length of his arm, slowly melted under the swirling glass-colored flames, revealing a faint fire-red spark within. Whiz! As soon as the fire-red spark broke free from the crystal block, it immediately became like a lively spirit, continuously attacking Xiao palm with the glass-colored flame, its aura fiercely greedy. You're saying it wants to devour you? The glass-colored sacred flame naturally wasn't one to back down. In just an instant, it captured the weak flame, and Xiao received a message in his mind. Boom! At the same time, in the Phoenix village, a violent energy ripple spread from deep beneath the ground, unleashing shockwaves of terrifying intensity. The air was filled with an overwhelming violent energy, and the entire world seemed to lose its sense of balance. The group felt as though their very souls were trapped in a momentary cycle of reincarnation. Ice Phoenix's feather. Sacred flame. The Ice Phoenix and the five-legged golden crow simultaneously raised their arms, and pure white ice energy and golden flames descended from their bodies, enveloping Xiao and the others. Whoosh! Even with the protection of two powerful beings, the group still felt uneasy as the violent energy sent waves of dread through them. Such overwhelming power was far more terrifying than anything from the third-tier reincarnation stage. Big Brother Xiao, I found a clue. After several minutes, once the violent energy waves had slightly weakened, the reincarnation seal on Xun'er's forehead began to burn faintly. The golden flames surrounded her body, making her seem incredibly divine. She then looked toward the deeper part of the Phoenix village plain, where there seemed to be an ancient creature that had not been sealed in the fire-red crystal blocks. The violent energy attacking them also emanated from that deep place where her gaze was directed. Big Brother Xiao, there should be a way to break the seal in the depths of this Phoenix village plain, and the reincarnation seal feels extremely hot, which probably has something to do with Phoenix Island above. It wasn't until all the violent energy dissipated that Xun'er spoke gravely while gazing at the distant plain. It seemed clear now that trying to forcefully enter Phoenix Island was nearly impossible, so they would have to focus on breaking through the Phoenix village. The Phoenix clan is of noble character, and they won't stop until they reach a lofty goal. The life force in this strange, crystalline-sealed plain is incredibly faint. Xiao shook his head, not yet having a better plan. Let's go. We should be able to break the seal more easily with Xun'er's reincarnation seal. With that, the group moved toward the depths of the Phoenix village. I wonder which sacred flame the Phoenix clan possesses. Xiao felt a sense of excitement, though he didn't show it. Based on the Phoenix clan's secret of legends, he didn't believe they would casually hand over their sacred flame. Furthermore, the Phoenix clan's security measures were too meticulous for anyone to know exactly which flame they guarded. As they journeyed, Xiao glanced at the bustling wudong trees around them. A faint, holy aura spread, but the fire-red crystalline seals and flames seemed to have halted the growth of the wudong trees, leaving them lifeless. Even with Xiao senses, these crystals and flames didn't seem to be draining the ancient power from the wudong trees like vampires. Rather, it appeared as though they were protecting the trees. Looking carefully, Xiao couldn't detect anything strange inside the wudong trees. However, his soul power and sacred flame allowed him to perceive things that ordinary people couldn't. On the wudong trees, there was a strong trace of evil energy, and that kind of power could only belong to the extraterritorial evil clan. However, this evil power had weakened to such an extent that it was almost negligible. This subtle discovery made Xiao Yin wonder if even the mighty Phoenix clan was a mere smokescreen for the extraterritorial evil clan's attacks. Have you found anything? Ice Snow Yao turned to the smaller Ice Phoenix beside her. Chirp, chirp, chirp. The Ice Phoenix suddenly let out a call toward the depths of the Phoenix village. The sharp, clear cry was filled with hostility. Be careful. Ice Snow Yao, knowing that the Ice Phoenix carried the bloodline of the Phoenix clan, reminded the group. The crystal forest was dense and impenetrable, not allowing any force to penetrate inside. A crystal passage was remarkably conspicuous, with faint traces of footsteps, clearly indicating that someone had passed through before. Help me. As the group hesitated, a wave of violent energy once again rippled out in fiery red waves from the depths of the crystal forest, accompanied by a faint voice. Did you hear that? Feng Qian's delicate body shuddered unexpectedly, as if the voice had stirred something deep within her. It was an absolute suppression on the bloodline. Whoosh whoosh. The group exchanged glances and cautiously stepped into the crystal passage, making their way deeper into the crystal forest. 10 minutes later, deep within the crystal forest, a massive scene stunned their hearts, leaving them speechless for a long time. What is this? A lake and a phoenix tree? Before them lay an expansive area with a shimmering lake at its center, though the lake was also sealed off by crystal blocks. At the center of the lake stood a massive phoenix tree towering 1,000 meters high. Its branches and trunk exuded an ancient fluctuation. Phoenix Island, is it being dragged by this tree? Why couldn't we see this scene from the outside? Feng Qian furrowed her brows, clearly puzzled. This is a technique of the Heavenly Phoenix clan. Perhaps there's a force here that obstructs us, preventing us from discovering what's truly happening from the outside. Xun'er explained, nodding. At this moment, the reincarnation seal was no longer burning with heat, but instead emitted a faint scorching aura, burning Xun'er's body. Clearly, the force suppressing the reincarnation seal had reached its limit, and the next thing Xun'er had to face would be the backlash from the reincarnation seal. However, there was still a little time before the final step. Help me. The ancient murmuring voice resounded once again. The ancient phoenix tree's branches, sealed under the crystal blocks, suddenly flickered with a fiery red glow before violently exploding. This phoenix tree. This is the guardian of Phoenix Home, the spirit of the phoenix tree. Not long after, the five-legged golden crow shrank and perched on Xun'er's shoulder, helping to alleviate the backlash while staring at the ancient tree in front of them, speaking in shock. Though the five-legged golden crow had been suppressed by the mystic bird clan for many years, it had once followed the master of the 9 mystical flames into the heavenly Phoenix clan. Memories stirred, and it was easy for it to recall. The spirit of the phoenix tree? Xiao Yin furrowed his brows, unable to determine a solution from this voice alone, leaving everyone puzzled. The heavenly Phoenix clan uses the phoenix tree as a symbol because it represents elegance and purity, much like the image of the Phoenix clan itself. As for the spirit of the phoenix tree, it is the king within the phoenix tree. It continually supplies Phoenix Island with vital energy and is one of the roots of the heavenly Phoenix clan. Look, the top of this phoenix tree connects to the bottom of Phoenix Island. The five-legged golden crow's memories flowed like a spring, and then it turned its gaze to the sky. As expected, but the branches of this phoenix tree seem withered, as if it has exhausted too much of its power. Why is that? Xiao Yin nodded, speaking bluntly. Help me. The ancient voice rang out again, this time notably clearer. Everyone could clearly discern that the voice was emanating from the phoenix tree in front of them. Spirit of the phoenix tree, tell us your wish, and we will help you. Suddenly, the five-legged golden crow leapt into the air and hovered above, shouting at the sealed phoenix tree. The void here was sealed, and even with the five-legged golden crow's strength at the third-tier reincarnation stage, it felt the immense pressure as it flew into the air, its body contorting under the strain. Boom, boom. At the same time, a fiery red energy spread out, and the entire landscape at the center of the forest began to undergo a tremendous transformation. A domain? The spirit of the phoenix tree can actually create a domain? The crystalline world disappeared, replaced by a vast lake with surging waves. This is the domain of the spirit of the phoenix tree, its inner world. Be careful, the five-legged golden crow said, looking worriedly at the scene before them. Within the lake, numerous life forces surged, and the phoenix tree in front of them suddenly vanished, turning into tiny specks of glowing light that scattered throughout the domain, faintly forming a phantom figure. Help me. The glow surrounded them, once again emitting a weak, powerless murmur. What is this? Ice Snow Yao and Feng Qian exchanged a glance. They were at a loss, unable to find a solution to the current situation. After all, while they were special, they knew little about the internal affairs of the Heavenly Phoenix clan. Staring at the brilliant energy flickering in front of her, Xun'er gritted her teeth and resisted the invasion of the reincarnation seal at her brow, speaking in a low voice. The fluctuations emitted by the reincarnation seal were too intense. Clearly, something was triggering it. What was in front of her was definitely related to the master of the 9 mystical flames. Whoosh whoosh. At the same time, the luminous energy in front of her solidified, forming the image of a frail, emaciated old man who stood listlessly in the sky, his dead, lifeless eyes fixed on the place where Xiao and the others were. He exuded a sense of desolation, as if his entire body had been invaded by endless barrenness, leaving behind nothing but an empty shell. As expected, I wasn't wrong. It's the spirit of the Phoebe tree of the Phoenix clan's miscellaneous birds. Looking at the frail old man that appeared, the five-legged golden crow sneered condescendingly. As the spirit of the sacred flame and the embodiment of a divine artifact, it was fearless of such beings. As for the old man before them, he was the king of all the Phoebe trees in the Phoenix Homeland, a being responsible for managing and transmitting the life force within the trees for the Phoenix clan. Save me. Suddenly, the spirit of the Phoebe tree spoke, his voice weak and tired. As his words fell, a tiny plant, no more than an inch tall, slowly appeared behind him. When the tiny plant emerged, the entire area around them seemed to lose its light and energy, with the plant flourishing in an unexpected burst of vitality, drawing all eyes to it. Hoo-hoo! As this strange plant appeared, the ice phoenix perched on Shui Yao's shoulder and Feng Qian inside her body both emitted weak phoenix cries. A deep sense of unease surged within them. Such pure energy! Xiao immediately used his spiritual power to shield everyone, his expression grim as he stared at the strange plant. However, the feedback from his sacred flame power and spiritual perception was very strange. What's behind him is the core of this land, the Phoebe source seed. This is the essence of all the Phoebe trees in the Phoenix clan. The Phoebe trees here have long been inhabited by the Phoenix clan and have grown deeply spiritual. Following their guidance, we were able to step onto Phoenix Island. It's only natural for Ice Phoenix and Feng Qian, as descendants of the Phoenix clan subordinates, to feel this pressure from their bloodline. The five-legged golden crow observed the faint glow of the source seed behind the old man, his expression turning serious. After a moment, he relaxed and said, "Such weak life force." Xiao frowned. The life force of this seedling was too weak. Without the protection of the sealed crystal blocks, it might have already extinguished completely. Save me. At this moment, the old man's voice turned hoarse, and the ancient, colorful cracks began to spread from his body. Faint red phoenix shapes began to flicker on his body and the plant behind him. Xun'er. At this moment, Xiao suddenly realized something, and he immediately took Xun'er's arm, pulling her to the side of the plant. This is the sacred flame? As Xun'er stood before the frail plant, the 9 mystical flames within her body surged rapidly. She looked up and saw the sacred flame, now a glazed blue, quietly coiling beside Xiao. The life force inside this plant seems to have been drained by some force, and the last trace of its origin is protected by the fiery red flames. These fiery red flames should be another form of the sacred flame, but it's only a trace of its fire. Xiao stared at the faint red phoenix shapes appearing on the branches of the Phoebe source seed and slowly spoke. All these signs point toward Phoenix Island. Xiao, let's do it. After a moment, Xun'er took a deep breath and stared at Xiao with fiery determination. All right. Boom, boom. The glazed fire and golden flame erupted simultaneously from both of them, and the brilliant, dazzling fire aura illuminated the entire area, turning it into a breathtaking scene. As the two powers intertwined, the Phoebe Source Seed, which had already been on the brink of death with only the faintest trace of origin left, began to grow slowly, as if sprouting like bamboo shoots after a spring rain. Sizzle, sizzle. The Phoebe Source Seed greedily absorbed the sacred flame energy from both Xun'er and Xiao, replenishing its depleted life force. However, due to the interference of the reincarnation seal, Xun'er's complexion became pale, and the power within her body began to grow chaotic. Her breathing became erratic, and if this continued, it might trigger the reincarnation seal. If the reincarnation of the Master of the Nine Mystical Flames was prematurely activated without the right timing, even with all their strength, Xiao and the others might be unable to stop it. Xun'er, step back. Xiao quickly uttered a cold command and immediately pulled Xun'er away. Lady, are you all right? Once Xun'er was pulled away, the five-legged golden crow quickly rushed to her side, his face equally pale. With Xiao increased power, the entire domain suddenly shattered and dissipated. The group once again found themselves at the base of the crystal block Paulownia tree deep in the forest. However, at this moment, after the energies of Xiao and the Paulownia seedling converged, extremely intense energy fluctuations began to surge from the very core of this crystal-sealed forest. Glassy-colored flames, fiery red flames, and the green life aura hidden deep within the Paulownia seedling. These three terrifying forces spread like waves of destructive storms. Wherever they passed, countless crystal blocks in this sealed phoenix land suddenly buzzed, as if they were calling out to something. Rip? The frail elder watched this scene, nodding with satisfaction, before raising his hand towards the top of the crystal-sealed Paulownia tree. In an instant, a green passageway, filled with countless prohibitions, appeared vaguely before them. The void twisted, and although numerous crystal blocks remained sealed, the world beyond was extraordinarily alluring. The entrance to Phoenix Island has appeared. Down below, Bing Shuiyao's face was filled with excitement as she shouted to the crowd. Damn it! This Paulownia seedling is still drawing on my power. I can't break free. Seeing the green light portal linking Phoenix Island gradually shrink, Xiao hurriedly tried to sever the connection, but to no avail. Creak. A crisp phoenix cry sounded, and immediately, Xiao position was replaced by Feng Qin. Xiao go. Phoenix Clan, I entrust you with this. After saying that, Feng Qin immediately infused her continuous reincarnation power into the Paulownia seedling. With this action, she also underwent a subtle transformation. Go! Seeing this, Xiao wasted no time. He took Xun'er and Bing Shuiyao in each hand, with sacred flame and glassy hues wrapping around them. Against the immense pressure, they rushed into the green portal, heading towards Phoenix Island. Suspended in the sky, the enormous island stood like an ancient, unchanging structure with no visible changes. But as the group passed through the passage, a tremor spread from within their bodies. Meanwhile, a streak of flowing light emerged beneath the Paulownia tree. In just a few flashes, Xiao and the others reached the top of the Paulownia tree, at the edge of Phoenix Island. As they neared the base of Phoenix Island, invisible energy waves surged from the enormous island. The terrifying shockwaves swept through, and the entire world was filled with a rare, solemn atmosphere. Even this so-called Phoenix Island was simultaneously sealed by countless red crystal blocks. Within the red crystal blocks, fiery red flames blazed, and the situation was eerily identical to that below, in the Phoenix Land. Around the edge of Phoenix Island, thick layers of fire-red crystal blocks formed an impenetrable barrier, as though sealing the island with an energy field. Under the protection of these incredibly solid forces, without the guidance of the Paulownia spirit, even those at the fifth-tier reincarnation stage would find it nearly impossible to break this lock. Phoenix Island was the home and core of the Phoenix Clan's strongest members. Looking out, the island was vast in size, but its landscape was dominated by steep, towering peaks. There were dozens of smaller peaks, And the most striking of all were three blood-red mountains rising at the very center of Phoenix Island. Atop these mountains, the Paulownia trees circled around, and beyond that, mist enveloped them, hinting at the presence of some enormous, ancient being. Like the Phoenix Land, this island too was sealed by countless crystal blocks. The only difference was that the flames within these crystal blocks were far more powerful and intense. Whoosh! Whoosh! Gentle life force enveloped the group, easily penetrating the energy restraints, and they entered Phoenix Island. Such dense heaven and earth energy. The three of them floated above Phoenix Island's skies. Bing Shuiyao's beautiful eyes kept turning as her hands casually waved. Fiery red liquid dropped from the void, and under the nourishing power of this fire-red energy, the five-legged golden crow's bodies emitted a pleased buzzing sound. Xiao, I can't sense any Phoenix Clan experts here. Xun'er activated her reincarnation seal and carefully checked. But within this enormous Phoenix Island, there was no trace of any Phoenix Clan experts, nor their physical presence. At this moment, Phoenix Island was nearly an empty island. There was no hidden aura or presence of powerful beings. Senior? Xiao looked towards the five-legged golden crow, who had previously entered here with the master of the 9 mystical flames. Surely, it should know something. I don't know. The last time I came with my master, it was nowhere near this lifeless. The five-legged golden crow felt a great sense of confusion and could only shake its head helplessly. Let's head to the main peak. At the top of the main peak, there was a flat, circular platform, about 100 meters in diameter, with a blood-red mist hovering at its center. Nothing else could be seen. Thump, thump. As they stepped onto the surface of Phoenix Island's main peak, the sound of a long-forgotten heartbeat echoed. Brother Xiao. Xun'er furrowed her brows, as the pressure from the blood-red mist in front of them was too overwhelming. The ground here seems a bit like the resting place of the Phoenix Clan's leader. The five-legged golden crow didn't proceed recklessly, but instead studied the area covered in blood-colored crystal blocks. He spoke in a deep voice. Within the blood-colored crystals, there's an incredibly violent and domineering force. Also, the sacred flame within me is becoming agitated. It may have something to do with the sacred flame. At this point, there's no turning back. We can only push forward. Xiao nodded, then signaled to Bing Shuiyao and Xun'er to stay put. He stepped forward with the five-legged golden crow, walking towards the center. It looked like only a few dozen steps, but as Xiao moved, each step felt like ancient forces were pressing down on him, threatening to crush him if he wasn't careful. Buzz buzz. Suddenly, the vertical eye on Xiao forehead opened. The unique aura of the Xiao clan was released from it. Chirp, chirp. In an instant, the blood-red crystals on the ground began to shake. A scorching, violent aura began to leak out from these crystals. Whoosh whoosh. Terrifying red beams of light shot out from the crystals, exploding without warning. Waves of suffocating, dreadful energy surged toward Xiao and the others, fiercely impacting their bodies. Ice. Golden crow. Glazed armor. 3 cold snorts rang out simultaneously. Immediately, the trio's bodies were enveloped in 3 kinds of flames, glazed, golden, and ice attributes, merging into a brilliant flame armor. Poof! The defensive barrier they formed together was utterly powerless against the blood-red energy's attack. It shattered into dust in an instant, and waves of devastating power ignored their defenses, racing toward their hearts. Retreat. Xiao was startled and immediately increased his speed, pulling the others away from the peak. They hovered in the void outside, their expressions grim. The blood-colored energy raged, and the violent, scorching energy caused the entire mountain peak to dull significantly. Rip. As the energy spread, subtle changes began to occur on the flat ground before them. The ground, once covered by the crystal blocks, now flickered with countless ancient red patterns. The blood-red mist in the center began to slowly swirl. Xun'er, be careful. Senior five-legged golden crow. We? Before Xiao could finish his sentence, a violent wave of blood-colored energy spread once again. its terror matching that of the five-legged golden crow in his prime. Look! The five-legged golden crow looked toward the center of the mountain peak. Following his gaze, everyone was stunned, their eyes filled with disbelief. The top of this peak, it's actually a formation? The number of array patterns radiating from the ancient blood-colored crystals was so immense that even Xiao, at his current level, felt inadequate. The power of such an array was truly horrifying. Looking toward the core of this blood-colored crystal formation, a blood-red, almost sinister circle formed, radiating an aura of unmatched strength, as if it could dominate the heavens and the earth. As their gazes swept across, they could faintly see a shadow within the circle. The five-legged golden crow and Bing Shuiyao's ice phoenix trembled, and the two of them stared intently at the surging energy within the blood-red circle. The next moment, they gasped in unison. Phoenix Clan's leader, Feng Luan Yi. The leader of the Phoenix Clan? Xiao and Xun'er exclaimed simultaneously, a sense of solemnity spreading in their hearts. After a moment, the sacred flame within them surged uncontrollably, forming a solid energy barrier in front of them. They cautiously watched the blood-colored energy inside the formation. The blood-colored energy churned, and after a few breaths, it finally stopped, allowing the internal space of the formation to return to normal. At the same time, the eerie blood mist at the formation's core began to dissipate, revealing a figure calmly seated. At the center of the blood-red crystal array, there was a throne, its surface shimmering with a colorful glow. Various strange birds and beasts were carved on its edge, exuding spirituality and grandeur. Seated upon the throne was a delicate figure. It was a woman, her hair as soft as cotton, adorned with an exquisite hairpin. The most striking feature was the small phoenix shadow, no bigger than the size of a palm, quietly perched atop the woman's head. It was surrounded by an ever-burning crimson flame. The fluctuation caused the surrounding space to warp, and with Xiao and the others sensing it, there was no doubt. It was Sacred Flame. Sacred Flame. The ninth on the Sacred Flame rankings, Nirvana Phoenix Flame. As he gazed at the scene, a long-lost shock surged in Xiao heart, and he almost blurted it out. Boom! The reincarnation seal uncontrollably drew Xun'er's body closer to the formation. Xiao Gij. I'm fine. This seems to be the consciousness inside the reincarnation seal, Xun'er explained, noticing that Xiao ignored the formation's energy invasion, which was swirling around her delicate figure. I'll be with you. Xiao smiled faintly and embraced Xun'er, walking step by step toward the throne at the center of the formation. Whoosh! Just a few dozen paces away from the throne, an invisible barrier isolated the two from the throne. Swish, swish. Golden flames from the reincarnation seal spread, and layers of impenetrable blood-colored crystals appeared in front of them, completely enveloping and sealing the figure on the throne. This is the power of Sacred Flame. Only at that moment did the five-legged golden crow's shock begin to calm down. It then slowly moved toward the center. This person is indeed the clan leader of the Phoenix Clan, and the flame atop her head is also Sacred Flame. However, the blood-red crystals around her are special crystals containing reincarnation. Even with our strength, if we touch them, the consequences will likely be dreadful. We can only. Just as the five-legged golden crow finished speaking, Xiao eyes surged with flames, and then immense spiritual power surged out, directly revealing the figure on the throne. The woman's body was petite, emitting a faint fragrance, with her multicolored long hair flowing down, giving her a unique charm. Coupled with her tall and delicate figure, she formed an elegant curve. Unseen, there was a terrifying aura hidden within her, one capable of contending with the heavens themselves. With her supreme identity, it was enough to make any powerful force hesitate. Around the throne, there were 9 phoenix shadows, sealed by the crystals, quietly crouching in the 9 directions, seemingly protecting and wary of this phoenix empress. The entire inner space was surrounded by blood-red crystals, making it impossible to approach. She is the Phoenix Clan's most outstanding daughter of the heavens. Compared to Goddess Xiao, her strength is not much different. At this moment, the five-legged golden crow stood atop the two of them, and the soft golden flames began to scorch Xun'er's brow, while a familiar sensation emanated from the crystals. After the great calamity of the Great Thousand Worlds ended, and the extraterritorial evil forces retreated, a small number of powerful enemies remained at the borders of the Great Thousand Worlds. The Master volunteered to guard the outer edge and drive them away, but the enemy's forces were immense, and the Master was unfortunately wounded. At the moment when the Master was in peril, Feng Luan-yi appeared alone, driving away the extraterritorial forces and saving the Master. After that incident, the Master soon received news that the Phoenix clan had imprisoned Feng Luan-yi. He forcefully invaded the Phoenix clan with me. Unfortunately, the Phoenix clan was filled with strong warriors, and in the end, Feng Luan-yi was forcibly sent out of Phoenix Island. The divine artifact was separated and suppressed, and the Master's whereabouts became unknown. The five-legged golden crow recounted the details from memory. Later, the senior master of the 9 mystical flames became severely weakened, caught in the turbulent currents of time and space. By chance, he was saved by our ancient clan's ancestors and brought back to recover. But the senior master's internal turmoil was so great that he sealed the sacred flame in our clan's sacred grounds and entered reincarnation. Xun'er continued, following the five-legged golden crow's words. But what exactly happened to the senior master in the Phoenix clan? Why did it lead to a fierce battle between two forces? Xiao could only nod helplessly. I don't know. Let's act. Only by obtaining some of the Nirvana Phoenix Flame's power can we use it to suppress the reincarnation seal's activation along with the divine artifact's power. Otherwise, the suffering the mistress will face will be unbearable. Let's do it. The glazed colored flames and golden flames burned together. Xiao held Xun'er's hand, stepping heavily as they approached the sealed throne. The power of sacred flame lingered, and the two of them gradually fused into the crystals, inching closer to the throne. Drip, drip. Sweat uncontrollably dripped down as the sensation of walking a step too far could lead to eternal damnation, constantly shocking them. Not enough. Although protected by the sacred flame's fire, mere proximity and extracting the sacred flame was not sufficient. So, Xiao wrapped the sacred flame around his palm, and with his fingers, he began smashing through the blood-red crystals to create a path. The sharp sound pierced through Xiao soul. Yet no matter how immense the pressure from the throne inside and the 9 phoenix shadows guarding it, Xiao smiled as if nothing was wrong. Brother Xiao enough? Beside him, Xun'er's delicate body trembled, clearly feeling powerless when facing the 9 phoenix shadows guarding the throne. In contrast, Xiao face was covered with deep wrinkles of determination, which stood out prominently. Don't worry. Raising his hand, the glass-like flames turned into a brilliant liquid, enveloping Xiao palm as he gently struck the crystal block in front of him. The crystal block was forcibly shattered, creating a narrow passage for the two to enter the edge of the throne. Several blood-red crystal blocks fell onto Xiao skin, causing an intense pain that penetrated deep into his bones. Even with Xiao current strength, the pain was enough to make him sigh in discomfort, though the energy attached to his skin lingered, not dissipating for a long time. However, Xiao had no time to pay attention to this. His eyes were bloodshot as his palm continued to wave, clearing the crystal blocks away. A blood-red crystal passage was forcefully carved out, directly connecting to the bottom of the Phoenix Luan-yi throne, into the sacred flame. Xun'er, hurry up. Activate the reincarnation seal, trigger the resonance of both powers, and I will use my soul power to seize a trace of the original force of the Nirvana Phoenix Flame to help you fully control the reincarnation. Xiao eyes blazed red as he gritted his teeth, enduring the searing pain caused by the countless violent energies from the shattered crystal blocks attaching to his skin. Whoosh! Whoosh! The fiery red flames surged like a world-destroying tidal wave. As soon as they erupted, they instantly raised a monstrous wave in the crystal passage. Predecessor. Behind them, Icy Snow Yao gritted her teeth, her body rushing into the passage. The ice phoenix spread its wings, and an extremely cold white mist spread out, gradually weakening the power of the Nirvana Phoenix Flame. With her keen senses, Icy Snow Yao noticed that the 9 phoenixes before her, as well as Feng Luan-yi, the Phoenix clan leader who had once saved her, had not completely perished. Instead, by harnessing the mysterious power of the Nirvana Phoenix flame, they seemed to have fallen into a very subtle state. It was somewhat like a deep sleep, and once awakened, both their strength and prestige would undoubtedly rank at the top of the Great Thousand Worlds. Xun'er, begin. I will guard here until your reincarnation seal is fully stabilized. The furious, fiery red sacred flame slowly hovered in front of Xun'er, a tremendous pressure radiating outward. However, no matter how vast the power of the Nirvana Phoenix flame was, under the combined control of the two sacred flame wielders, it could only calm down. Don't worry, little one. I will protect her. The five-legged golden crow also suppressed any violent aura and disdainful expression, standing quietly on Xun'er's shoulder. Only when the reincarnation seal is stabilized can they have a chance to go to the sea of reincarnation to awaken the master of the 9 mystical flames. If something happens to the reincarnation seal, the chance to awaken the master of the 9 mystical flames will become slim. Boom, boom. The fiery red sacred flame enveloped Xun'er's body, the crystal blocks covering her as the power of the reincarnation seal began to merge with the flames in a miraculous way. These powers will be useful to you. Take the opportunity to absorb them. Only when Xun'er fully calmed down did Icy Snow Xiao wave her jade hand, releasing a burst of white cold mist to protect Xiao. You. Xiao frowned. His body had already been corroded by the violent powers after smashing the crystal block passage, leaving him covered in wounds. Bang, bang, bang. As the strange cold mist from Icy Snow Xiao enveloped him, a series of bizarre changes began to occur on Xiao body. First, the blood-red energy from the crystal blocks adhered to his skin and began to dissipate under the effect of the cold mist. It slowly transformed into a pure blood-red liquid. It felt as though the cold mist had completely eliminated the violent factors within the blood-red energy. Icy Snow Yao's control over the ice attribute was terrifying, and with her reincarnation stage power, she was able to achieve such a remarkable effect. If she continued to grow, her strength would be unparalleled, a force that even heaven and earth could recognize. Within the blood-red liquid, an unparalleled and immense power flowed, as if it had its own consciousness, slowly coursing through Xiao skin, his heart, and other areas. As the liquid moved, Xiao was astonished to find that his body was gradually being repaired. There was even a sensation as if he were undergoing a complete transformation. The Nirvana Phoenix flame has a Nirvana effect. Although this is only a part of the sacred flame's power, with your physical strength and the many sacred flames within your body, it's only natural that this would happen. Icy Snow Yao's beautiful eyes were fixed on the woman seated on the throne within the crystal passage, a profound respect in her gaze. Xiao seemed to sense something and temporarily suppressed these forces. I have my own fate. It's better to absorb it now, he said. After finishing her words, Bing Shuiyao's body expanded, and ice crystals began to float off her, slightly lowering the temperature on Phoenix Island. She demonstrated her stance with action. She would protect this place. In the next moment, Bing Shuiyao and the Ice Phoenix turned into an ice sculpture, standing atop the formation mountain, their eyes filled with a humble expression as they looked at the woman sitting on the throne. Sigh. Xiao sighed softly, watching Xun'er enter her cultivation state. Bing Shuiyao, after slowly transforming into an ice sculpture, began her cultivation as well. Though he didn't fully understand the mysterious effects of the blood-red liquid, Xiao didn't deliberately try to control it, allowing it to flow continuously within his body. With every flow, Xiao felt a sense of joy, and he even felt that both his skin and physical strength were gradually improving. Since that's the case, let's see if I can break through my current limitations. Soon, a murky gas appeared in Xiao deep eyes, and the glazed sacred flame once again enveloped his body, hammering at the blood-red crystal blocks. Whoosh whoosh. As Xiao moved, the 9 phoenix shadows, lying dormant near the throne, suddenly emitted a terrifying wave of energy. The wave was like a black hole, and as soon as it appeared, it was ready to strike at Xiao. The frightening fluctuation caused Xiao blood to freeze, and a chilling sense of fear rose within him. Xiao Yin was still hammering at the blood-red crystals, and as the blocks shattered, pools of blood-red liquid flowed over his body. He sensed the disturbance and quickly looked up. However, the black hole-like force didn't cause any turmoil. The delicate figure on the throne lightly moved her finger, and the entire space returned to calm. It was as if the woman on the throne could destroy this world with just a casual movement. She was so strong. What kind of immense power did she possess? Doesn't matter. Feeling the continuous flow of blood-red liquid, which seemed to be tempering and washing over his body, Xiao Yin instead felt invigorated. However, Xiao Yin was unaware of the recent actions of the 9 Phoenix Shadows. The crystal blocks surrounding the throne, which were linked to the Nirvana Phoenix Flame, contained not only body-tempering properties, but also the divine effects of rebirth. The Phoenix Flame crystals around Feng Wan were numerous, and the terrifying power contained within them was enough to shake the heavens. Unfortunately, the Phoenix clan was currently sealed. Otherwise, Xiao Yan's actions would have surely triggered a joint attack from the Phoenix clan's powerful warriors. After all, the Phoenix Flame crystals were treasures only available to the kings and a few elder figures within the Phoenix clan. Here was an outsider, forcefully refining 1/3 of the Phoenix clan's most precious resource. After a moment, Xiao Yin closed his eyes, focusing on controlling the increasing power within him. At the same time, the stagnant reincarnation began to turn slowly. Only after reincarnation can one turn. I hope it doesn't disappoint, Xiao Yin murmured, continuing to adjust the forces within his body.